Good afternoon, everyone. How you doing? I ain't seen you in a couple of days. You have to excuse me if I sound a little nasal. It's because I just got through sneezing. It's that kind of weather, I guess. You know, up here it's the temperature is like in the 80s, and the wind is blowing bad as I wanted me a chicken pot pie. That's why I got up and I said, I'm going to put this on real quick. And I had my, God, look at these shoes over here, y'all. Don't laugh. Please don't laugh. I got these things from Amazon. They almost look like Vans, right? I don't know if they are. I don't think they're Vans, though. These came from Amazon. And I had them about 4 or 5 years. Hello. Never worn, but them things hurt my feet. And I said, okay, we're not going to go yellow. We're just going to go with whatever. So, how y'all been doing for the last, I think, 3 days that I've been up here? Yeah, I think it's been about 3 days. Yeah, I've been taking it easy, laying low, so to speak. Yeah. And one reason I wanted to come up here is to talk about Miss Shirley. You know, when I said, I don't know, on one of my videos, I said, go for it, Miss Shirley, make the money. I thought Miss Shirley was just doing boots on the ground. And then I saw some more videos. Matter of fact, today, and I think last night, I saw these videos. You know, where she's bumping and grinding. You know, like all down on the floor, you know, going down. I forgot what they call that when you go down through the scissors, you know, your legs are like, let me see if I can do it sitting down. When your legs are like this and you down there on the floor and you hoochie cooching it. You hoochie cooching, okay? And that's what I saw little Miss Shirley doing. And I said, no, that is not, you know, I thought they were talking about boots. I thought the dispute was about boots on the ground when she was going to, you know, with the fan. But no, now I see what they're talking about, and I see what the hype is about. That's a bit much for a 4-year-old to be doing. And she was doing it along with another young lady, you know, and the young lady was just, you know, just snaking it all down to the ground, legs open and closing and all this. I said, she's 4. No. And then they had a meetup. I said, I didn't know all this was going on. They had until, matter of fact, I got to watching that this morning. How grown men talking about they wanted to meet Miss Shirley. Why are you grown? Why do you want to meet Miss Shirley? Miss Shirley's a baby. She's 4 years old. Ain't no way in the world I'm telling my 4-year-old talking about she going out and meet some grown people. If she want to meet somebody, meet some little kids her age, ain't gonna be no grown man and they're picking her up and all this kind of stuff. And they love her. Love her from afar. That's the only thing I can say, but you don't be touching my children. No. You leave my little Miss Shirley alone. Because Miss Shirley is just that, a baby. That's all. She's a baby. She's not a grown woman. But they wanted talking to her, talking like she's a grown woman. How far they traveled to see Miss Shirley. I would be afraid of that if I was the parents. Because, you know, like one of the viewers, one of the content creators was talking about John Benet Ramsey, and you know how she was dressed up and how they made her look like a woman. But I thought Miss Shirley, the way she looked, I thought she looked really cute, you know, with her little boots on, her little shorts or whatever it is the mama had her, you know, put on. I thought she looked real cute, and to me, she looked cute doing the boots on the ground. But this other stuff, that's a no-no, Mom and Dad. You know, that's a no-no in my book. That's my opinion. In my opinion, it's not just my opinion, it's others' opinion. And I wouldn't be surprised, like some people are saying that she's being exploited. I see a lot of people up here being exploited, especially the elderly people. You know, they people are, to making the money. They're exploiting the mother, the grandmothers. The grandmothers and the granddaddies and stuff like that, they're making the money. But see, these are grown people. Hello. That's a big difference. Which I mean, I realize that this is what they're doing. They're using them to make the money because they can bring in the views. I watch them myself. But not Miss Shirley. You can't do that with children like that. Because after a while, see, the children, it's not going to be, she can't go anywhere. She won't be able to go outside. She won't be able to go to school. Her, especially if people know what school she goes to and stuff like that, she would have to be like guarded all the time. Something like a Michael Jackson. And he was a little older than Miss Shirley. But, she should be in kindergarten, pre-K and stuff like that, and be able to enjoy life, go to the park if she wants to, without worrying about if somebody going to try and kidnap her or take her and do, horrible things to her. I don't know if y'all ever watched Nancy Grace. Well, I know we've heard about the Casey Anthony and what's the baby name? Kaylee? Casey? Casey Anthony and her daughter. Oh my goodness! It was right there on the tip of my tongue because there were so many of them back then. And there was another little girl that was on the YouTube. This has been years ago now. And this guy had taken this little child. I think she was about 5 years old. And he took her to a hotel. And they had pictures of him coming out the hotel with the girl. I don't know if I forgot exactly how that story went. But I think their mom or somebody had owed him some money or something like that. But they had him on camera, when he was coming out that hotel and he was holding her in his arms. He had picked her up. He was holding her, carrying her. And it went out. I guess he put her in the car. And while he was in the car, he twisted her neck, broke her neck, and then threw her out there on the street. Threw her out on, I think it was a freeway. So we have to be careful about our children. We have to be careful about grown people as well. But Miss Shirley is more, she's vulnerable. She's a child. Sometimes us grown people, I have been in some situations myself and I was grown, okay? But thank God I came out all right. But, I'll tell you, for what I saw, when I saw that all that they were allowing Miss Shirley to do and meeting up men and men, coming to see her. You don't come to see a little girl for. Watch her from afar. And one man told me how far he had traveled to see her. He loved Miss Shirley. I don't know, y'all. I think not. I think that's a bad idea. But anyway, I just came up here to try to sort of recant what I said before, which I still think it looks cute with her doing the boots on the ground dance. With the fan. And at first I said, that's what they're talking about. I thought that's what they were talking about. But no, there's other dances up there. And I said, uh-oh, now I see. My eyes are wide open now. I see what they're talking about and what the hype is about. It's like she's being exploited, and she doesn't really have to do all that to bring home the bacon, so to speak. She was doing just fine with boots on the ground. Any little dance is okay as long as she ain't grinding like she's doing the Hoochie Coochie, like something somebody would do into a nightclub or strip bar or something. The strip tease. She's too young for that. Way too young for that. And so I don't know. I just hope the parents take heed to it, and sort of, keep it a little cleaner for Miss Shirley. I ain't saying Miss Shirley got to stop, but I'm just saying Miss Shirley need to keep it a little cleaner because it's too much for her to be doing that. Like she's a stripper. She's not a stripper. She's a baby. Cute little baby at that. So, I guess I said enough about that. I hope I made myself clear and plain. I just wanted to retract what I said. Well, I'm not totally retracting it, but what I'm retracting is that Hoochie Coochie dance. Boots on the ground, I love it. I love it myself. Matter of fact, I've been paying, I'm 79 years old. I do the boots on the ground the best I can, but my leg hurts me, y'all, so sometimes, I got to take it easy. But I still be practicing it. Matter of fact, I should show y'all what I learned, but I'm hungry, and I was going to go to KFC to get me a pot pie. But I don't know. I don't know how this wind is out here, y'all, and how humid it is out here. Well, I suffer from allergies. Ugh. It don't feel bad out here, though. It don't. No. I might take a ride. I could be up there and back in about... a half an hour. I sure can. And so I think that's what I'm going to do because it's only like 12:35. I'll get me 2 of them. 2 pot pies. It costs $14, y'all. But it's worth it for as I'm concerned. I have one for today and one for tomorrow. I don't know how the weather's going to be tomorrow because I still got these... I know you don't want to hear those bottles over there. But on that note, y'all, if I'm going to go, I better get up and put my shoes on, get my boots on the ground, and get on my saddle and ride. And on that note, I go with love, and I'll see you again soon.